Chery Malaysia is about to break into the world of electric vehicles with this, the new Chery Omoda E5. Now, while this is a media preview, we have a pre-prototype or pre-production prototype to take a look at to tell you everything that you need to know. With a front single motor, a range of up to 430 kilometers, and a battery that is designed to be charged up to 100% every single time, is this now the EV crossover to look out for? My name is AIMAN ABDULLAH, this is Malaysian Motoring, and this is the media preview of the new Chery Omoda E5. Now, compared to the Omoda 5 that we've seen before, there are a few design flourishes that make the Omoda E5 a little bit different. We've lost the grille, and in its place we have this much cleaner, smoother front end which improves aerodynamics quite significantly. On top of that, there is a lower grille which incorporates an active grille shutter in order to improve aerodynamics or improve cooling for the componentry underneath the bonnet as and when needed, again to improve aerodynamic efficiency. Down the side we have 18-inch alloy wheels with an aerodynamic design again to help smoothen the air as it cuts through it, and overall the front end does look significantly different enough compared to the Omoda 5 before it. Now, aside from the wheels, down the side of the Omoda E5, it looks very similar to the B-segment crossover that we're quite familiar with at this point. The only difference being that this car comes in a single tone. Now, compared to the Omoda 5H, or the higher spec variant, that comes exclusively as a two-tone, whereas the lower variant comes as a single tone. Now, of course, certain finalized specifications haven't yet been screwed down, but we're made to understand the Omoda E5 will come with some unique colors, and hopefully it'll include this, which is a beautifully metallic-y, light greeny, tealy. It's very hard to describe, but it is very nice to look at. And the back end of the Chery Omoda E5 also looks very similar again to that crossover that we're very familiar with. The only difference being there's a slightly reprofiled rear bumper where we've lost the quad exhaust pipes that the last car had. Now, when you do pop the tailgate, which obviously is power operated, you will find that in terms of rear luggage space, you haven't really lost anything. The practicality in here is still as good as ever before. The only difference being we've lost the spare tire in place, or in its place you'll find a tire repair kit. Now, mercifully, this power tailgate should remain standard because we can only imagine that buyers of these cars would be quite tired of opening and closing their own tailgates. Now, the interior of the Omoda E5 is significantly different from the Omoda 5 that we've seen before. For starters, this is a unique steering wheel which certainly looks a little bit more upmarket than before and even includes Omoda badging here, as well as what appears to be an eye tracker for the ADAS 2.5 system up here. On top of that, the controls up here have also been revamped. This screen is now of a higher pixel density than before and features an improved processing system in order to make everything move and operate a little bit smoother. The interface has also been updated, again to make everything a little bit more upmarket. And like the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro, we now have a set of touch-sensitive buttons here to control certain functions, and the stalks have also been revised, where you now have your indicator stalk on this side, which also controls your wipers, whereas the main lighting systems are all controlled via a panel down here, unique to the Omoda E5. Now, the rest of the cabin architecture has also been changed. This dashboard is now a lot more similar to the Tiggo 8 Pro than it is compared to the Omoda 5. Even the door cards also have a very similar design and overall layout like the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro. Even the button controls for the windows and the window switches have all been upgraded to the slightly more upmarket car. On top of that, the material quality has also been improved ever so slightly, again to make this car feel a little bit more premium. And we also have this now newly redesigned center tunnel, which comes with the roller shutter up here, which reveals your wireless charger and dual cup holders. You have another storage cubby here, a line of controls here for things like your HVAC controls, your emergency stop signals, and so on, all here. We have an enormous tunnel down here which incorporates your 12-volt socket as well as USB-C ports, and also the switch to switch off the front passenger seat should you want to mount a child seat here, although I don't feel any mounts for it. And of course you have a large and deep center glove box which is even chilled, so if you want to put drinks in there they can stay cool throughout a long drive. Now, before I move to the rear, I want to talk a little bit about the ADAS 2.5 system. Now, Chery didn't go into too much detail about what ADAS 2.5 really means. However, we understand that it is an upgraded version of active driver assistance systems compared to what we've seen before from the Tiggo 8 Pro and the Chery Omoda 5. And if this little indicator thingy here is any indication, it really should be a bit of an upgrade. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's check out the rear. Now, compared to the BYD Atto 3, which this car will naturally compete with, the Omoda E5 is ultimately based on an internal combustion platform. And as a result, it means that the floor in this car has had to be raised in order to accommodate the battery. Which is why, as you can see, as I'm sat here, I have very little in terms of under thigh support. My footroom is relatively compromised, and because of the way the front seats are mounted, I don't really have that much room to tuck my feet in underneath the seat in front of me. On top of that, there have been some other slightly stranger revisions because there seems to be a single central aircon vent here. Very odd, but at least we do have USB-A and USB-C ports. There are also, naturally, ISOFIX mounts back here for child seats, and the doors do open relatively wide, which means a bulky rear-facing child seat should not be too difficult to install. And in terms of material quality, everything back here is exactly the same as the front, which means everything is nice and pliant, very well textured, and it does feel very upmarket indeed. Now, if I had one complaint, it has to do with the fact that the interior upholstery in this particular car is done up in black, which means that in this particular setting, it does feel rather dim and rather dingy. However, we're made to understand that Malaysian market cars will get a slightly different and brighter interior upholstery option, which certainly would make a huge difference in terms of the interior accoutrements and accommodations. Now, the Chery Omoda E5, as we see here, is a pre-production prototype, which means there will still be a few more specification changes before it lands here in Malaysia. And of course, because this is a prototype and because this is a media preview, we have no details with regards to pricing, which means we'll just have to wait for the official launch, which we're made to understand will occur some point in Q1 2024 to give you those details. However, we are very confident that it should still come with the excellent after-sales packages and services as we've seen from the earlier two internal combustion Cherys before it. And without further ado, that concludes our quick preview of the new Chery Omoda E5, Malaysia's latest incoming crossover EV. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon to be notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can join our WhatsApp channel, all in the links below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care and stay safe.